Hi everyone, I'm Casey Phillips. I am a Team Beachbody coach and personal trainer, and I wanted to do this video for you today on the just basics of meal planning. And this video will be particularly helpful for those of you who have never meal planned in your life or have taken some time off and are really ready to get back on the meal plan train. So I have some very basic tips for you, and then I will go into some details on what I do and resources that I use too. So to get basically into the meat of it, you want to start by thinking about the things that you are simply not going to buy. You're not going to consume, you're not going to eat, and you're not going to put in your cart at the grocery store to bring home with you. So if you haven't meal planned before, you don't want to take this to an extreme. So you don't want to say, I'm never having this again. I'm never going to eat that. You don't want to completely eliminate everything. If you're used to eating chips and cookies, don't say I'm never having chips and cookies. Maybe find a better version of those things to start off with so that you don't go into complete shock. And that you don't go all in and then burn out and binge. So think about the things that you want to eliminate or at least reduce in your nutrition. Things that you already know are not the best for you, and contemplate what could be better substitutions for those items. Take baby steps in this whole process. Like I said, if you go all in, you're much more likely to quit and then binge, which is what we want to avoid. We want to make this a lifestyle change. So the first step is thinking about what you need to reduce or eliminate from your food plan. And then that's going to bring you to your next step, which is to evaluate what you already have. So this has two parts to it. The first thing is to purge those items from your pantry that you no longer want to consume. If they're unopened, maybe take them to a shelter or donation center. And if they're open, just simply throw them away. I know that most people don't like to waste food, but you also need to start putting yourself first. So get rid of those items out of your pantry and fridge that you don't want to be consuming. Then the next part of figuring out what you have is actually doing an inventory of your refrigerator and your pantry, of all of the stuff that you have that you're going to keep and that you are ideally going to use and eat. So the first time you do this, it might be difficult, but as you get into the process of meal planning, you are going to already kind of know what you have in your pantry and your fridge, and you might just have to give it like a glance, like a once over, make sure, okay, yes, I do still have enough of that. But the first time you might even want to write everything down that you have. So, you have your oats, you have your quinoa, you have your rice in your pantry, you have all the spices that you need, or maybe you don't, and so you need to pick those up. You have all the olive oil and the coconut oil and the liquid aminos, all the stuff that you need to create sauces or dressings or season your food. So take an inventory of everything that you have so that you know what you have and you're not spending extra money and now buying double and wasting space and wasting food. Also make sure that it's not expired. So anything that's expired, obviously get rid of that too. So first step, determine what you're not going to eat. Second step, determine what you already have that you don't have to spend any more money on. Now the third step is sort of optional, and you can kind of do it the way that you like. It would be to either grab the grocery store ads or a seasonal foods list. Or if you really just prefer to do your shopping at one store, then stick with that too. That's fine. But grabbing the ads and buying seasonally is going to save you quite a bit of money. It can, however, take you quite a bit more time. So you kind of have to balance that time money thing. For me, I pretty much just shop at one store. If there's a one-off or two-off thing that I need in another store, I'll go get it. But for the most part, for me, it's more about just getting in one store and done. So either grab the ads, look through them, or know your store and go there and spend the money on it and save your own time. So the next step would be to calculate your caloric intake. So this is going to give you the number of calories that you need to consume each day. And there is two ways to kind of go about this. The first one is that if you are doing a Beachbody program, you can use the nutrition guide that comes with the program. If you purchase the DVDs, you can use the little booklet. It comes with a little booklet. It has all the caloric breakdown. It tells you exactly what you need to be eating calorie-wise, and it's very straightforward. If you are not doing a Beachbody program or you are doing some Beachbody on demand, you can use the caloric intake video that I also filmed and use that calculation. Or Beachbody On Demand, you also have access to all of the nutritional programs for all of the different Beachbody programs. So lots of resources for you to calculate your caloric intake. You can use any one of them. They're all going to be very similar, but if you have questions, of course, let me know. So those are the first 4 steps. Figure out what you're not going to eat, figure out what you already have, go through the ads or decide that you're going to just shop at one store, and then figure out your caloric intake, caloric needs. So this is where it starts getting a little bit more challenging, where you're actually going to start assembling your meals. So once you have your caloric intake, you are going to pick meals based on what you need calorie-wise. And you can eat anywhere from 3 to 6 meals a day. Obviously, 6 meals are going to be smaller in calories each. 3 meals are going to be larger than calories each, and then there's the spectrum in between. So again, if you're using a Beachbody program or Beachbody On Demand, each program has a list of actual meals that are designed to fit within the calorie content of that program. It's very easy, plug and play. The only drawback is those meals are set. So there's not a lot of play with it. It's just you plug that in, which is great for people who pretty much can eat anything. I am not one of those people. I'm a super picky eater, so I prefer using the Portion Fix program, which allows me to mix and match my foods as I like. Now, I'm one of those people who can eat pretty much the same thing every day, and I do, but I know that a lot of people like variety. So with the Portion Fix, you can customize your own meals and you use portion control containers to do it. If you want more info on Portion Fix, happy to send it, but that is what I use, and it is readily available on Beachbody On Demand, the guide for doing it. There's also a Fixate cooking show for it. I know it so well now that I'm able to put, my meal plans together without even really looking at the program guide, I guess you could call it. So it does take a little bit of practice, and the first time you do it, it will take a long time because you will be confused and you'll be frustrated, but stick with it because it's worth it and it gets easier every single time that you do it. So pretty much you're going to start assembling your meals by either following the Beachbody meals that are pre-assembled. They're not like pre-packaged food or anything, but they're pre-assembled. And or you're going to use something like Portion Fix where you assemble your own meals. And what you want to do is you want to start with your initial calories for the day, and then build a meal, subtract that meal's calories, build another meal, subtract that meal's calories, over and over again until you get to no calories left for your day. So for instance, if you're having, eggs and a piece of toast for breakfast, that's not one of the prearranged meals. It might be something that you could use Portion Fix for, or you can just Google the calories in those items and subtract it from your caloric intake and move on to the next meal. Pretty simple, but simple does not necessarily mean easy. So that is what you should be doing now, is taking your overall and then just subtracting from it. And then the next thing that you want to do is to also include in your meal plan any supplements that you're taking and when you're going to be taking them. So for instance, I take Shakeology, and I also take a pre-workout called Energize, and those I pretty much use every single day. So I plan them into my meal plan. And Shakeology for me is easy because I use it for pretty much one of my meals, whether it's breakfast or dinner or a snack or lunch or whatever. So I just plug that in where I need it. And then Energize, I plug in obviously right before I am planning on doing my workout, which gets me to plan my workouts. So I plan my workouts along with my meal plan, so it's all in one place. And then the next thing that you're going to want to do is actually write all this down. So don't just leave it in your head of being like, okay, I'm going to eat eggs for breakfast, I'm going to have a salad for lunch, and then I'm going to have, chicken and broccoli for dinner. Like, that's all well and good, and that might be your plan, but you need to write it down. And so there's 3 methods that you can go about writing it down. The first one is you can use just a regular old pen and paper. You can get like a cute little meal planning notepad, or you can get a separate notebook, or you can just use like a plain legal pad. Anything that will get you to write it down, that's fine. If you are a little more tech savvy, you can create an Excel spreadsheet. That's what I did my first couple of months doing this. I created an Excel spreadsheet. I made it all color coded. That way I could copy and paste things. And if it was, similar days, all I had to do was take one box and put it in the next day. That's really easy. I even have a template. If you would like it, I'm happy to send it to you. It's a little bit out of date since I haven't used it in a while, but it is still a viable template. And then the last thing you can do is use an app. So you can use an app like MyFitnessPal or Lose It to pre-track your meals, essentially. You put in what you are doing early, and that's what you follow. So that's an option too. I also use an app called Color Notes. You could use any notepad app. And what you do basically is you would just write down, what your meal plan is, and I don't know if you can see that, but what your meal plan is, and how it fits in what you're using at what time, what you're eating at what times. And you can also create a shopping checklist on that app as well. Which brings me to my next step of then taking everything that you've created for your meal plan and putting it into a shopping list. So you go through your meal plan for the week, and each meal you write out, okay, what am I going to need for this meal? You put it on your shopping list. And again, you can do a handwritten shopping list. You can do a shopping list on the Color Notes app. You can do shopping lists online. Really, there's a million different ways that you can create shopping lists, but the key is to create a list, and then when you go to the store, if it is not on the list, you do not buy it. That's how it works. No list, no buy. And that's going to save you a lot of time and a lot of money and a lot of willpower later on, because it's not going to sit on the shelves taunting you, saying, eat me, eat me. It will just not even be there. It will keep you much more accountable to your goals. And then the last part of this is once you have everything done, you are completely finished with your meal plan, you've done the shopping for it and everything, you post that meal plan and you put it on your fridge so you know exactly what you're eating, when you're eating it, and you can just cross it off the list. You can cross it off one at a time. If you're on the go on all the time, you can snap a picture of it on your phone and literally use like the edit feature and cross each meal off of your photo so that you know, like, I've eaten that, I'm good, and you're meeting your calories. Because one of the biggest things that I see, and I mentioned this in the caloric intake video, is when people want to lose weight, they start under eating, which is almost as bad, if not worse for you than overeating. So it's something that you want to avoid. You want to make sure that you're getting all of your food in for the day. So I'm just going to recap these steps real quick. One is figure out what you're not going to eat and not going to buy. Healthy substitutions here. Second thing, inventory. Take an inventory of what you have so you do not double up and so that you get everything that you need. Third, either decide you're going to one store and stick with that, or get out the ads and seasonal lists and do all the work to get the best deal that you can on the foods that you want. 4, make sure that you calculate your caloric intake. Again, watch the video that I posted or follow the Beachbody program caloric intake guide. 5, start assembling your meals. This is the most time-consuming part. It's also the most difficult and frustrating, but this is where the change happens, actually assembling those meals for yourself. And you can eat the same thing every day. It's not going to hurt you. Or you can eat the same thing for breakfast and same thing for lunch and have a different dinner. Make it easy on yourself. Don't complicate things. The 6th thing is include any supplements, vitamins, all of that you're taking. Put in your meal plan. And if you can, like, throw your workout in there as well. Know when you're working out for the week and how you're going to fuel your body for that workout. The next step, number 7, is to write it all down, whether you use Notepad, app, Excel sheet, whatever, write it all down. And then the next step, number 8, I believe, is creating that shopping list for it. So you're going to want to put everything that you've taken, put it in a list, go to the store, not shop off the list. And then the last thing is take your meal plan and put it on your fridge. Put it in your phone. Put it somewhere where you can cross things off the list so that you know you are eating all the calories that you need. So that's the very basics of meal planning, and I hope it gives you a really good start and that you're going to have a really great week because of it. And if you use any of these tips, I'd love to hear what the feedback is, tips of your own, anything that you want to share, and how these things have helped you. So thank you.